life real tough for someone who probably thinks they had a pretty good run through Group A, and all of a sudden is going up against Masterminds, a team they probably did not want to see. So there's a few different consequences coming out of this, depending on how it plays out. For me, Masterminds still surely win this. I think 3-1 for Masterminds over SereNity. But if Masterminds play like last week, there's potential for that not to be the case.
Yeah, look, I actually might even put the overtime, the tiebreaker in the hat here, because so far Masterminds has shown that they can't really close series out over teams. And SereNity have certainly been able to come back from behind when they've had to, so there's a lot of mental fortitude there for those guys if they do go down early here. But if SereNity get off to a good start, I can absolutely see them taking this series right now against Masterminds in the form that they're in. But who knows what a difference a week could make for both of these two teams.
Well, we're going to be starting it off here on Oasis all week long as our control point map. And straight away, SereNity going to find Noz. It's not a bad start for them. If they can find one more, perhaps, and they will. KS1, that's Masterminds losing both their tanks now. Noz going to...
wow.
Oh,
USMC's absolutely slaying right now.
Yeah.
What a fast pulse bomb that was out from him. He's done so much damage there, but even still, SereNity are the ones that are sitting on this point.
Really good start for them, and if they can find, as we say, you know, we see a lot of slow starts of control points for whatever. Maybe it's the brawly nature of it, but if they can find a win here, it's going to put them in great stead for the rest of the match, Jordan. August 9th going to get forced back there by the Winston, as Oily finally going to go down there to KS1. But SereNity will capture the point. To be fair, considering the picks they got, it took them a while.
Yeah, August 9th doing a great job here of keeping himself alive and putting some damage out as well, so he's been pretty impactful there for Masterminds, but I think you have to give a shout out to USMC. Every single time I seem to look at that kill feeder, there's a kill coming out from USMC.
Yep.
He's got another pulse bomb up already. So he's been really putting in work for his roster. Taki here on the Widow.
Feels like week in, week out, USMC is there, consistently getting results for his team. Even if the team doesn't play well, I feel like USMC is always right where he needs to be.
Well, that's what you would expect from a player like him. He's been at the top of the scene for a while. And he's just trying to make things work in this roster. Taki not getting too much done, though, with the Widowmaker at the moment. Has been firing up a few shots. Did have the Infrasight on for a time as well, but just not connecting anything. That's making life difficult for Masterminds here. But in saying that, they do still have the point. And if you can get this pick here, which he can't quite, Guzto. Interesting movement from him, but he does evade the shots.
Well, if your Widow can't do it, Jordan, maybe your Zenyatta can. And Gusto going to go down to the support. KS1 has found the other support here as well for SereNity. They're looking to capture the point 3/4 of the way there. Self-destruct over the top.
Wasted.
Yeah, unfortunately not going to find anyone this time around. And Oily going to throw that out. And unfortunately for him, get picked up as well in the process. Still, 62% here, Jordan. Whatever's going on, Masterminds is getting a lot of value from their first capture.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought that might have been a couple of wasted ults. The self-destruct, the Transcendence, didn't really have much of an impact, but then somehow Nox manages to get 2 kills with his Pulse Bomb, and we're right back into the thick of things here for SereNity. They're going to be able to flip things back over, and that was just off the back of that 2K from Nox. Tracer's having a massive impact now for both these two teams.
Yeah, maybe SereNity struggling to close out different aspects of this already. Firstly, they were the first onto the point. They were the first team to capture, but it took them so long to capture it originally. They lost it back almost immediately. And then even though it looked to have control of the point, Masterminds managed to hang on and get all the way up to 75% in their first effort.
Well, now SereNity are the ones in control, and Guzto has swapped back onto the Genji. I would say that so far has been his best hero this season, really having an impact on that, more so than other heroes. Again, being able to get the kill there onto KS1. Needs a few more. Another kill onto USMC, so definitely having an impact. Now Dragon Blade available as well, and that's where we're really going to start to see things get exciting for SereNity.
Yeah, Dragon Blade that probably needs to wait until Transcendence is done. Going after the Widow. There's one. That's a decent pick. Needs to find another. Nod's going to go down as well. But the self-destruct comes through, picks up Oily. So not all is lost here for SereNity. We'll see whether they can manage to hold on to this, Jordan, for enough time. They'd love to try and find that 99%, but if they do, maybe they get back if they lose it in that time frame. Yeah. I don't know. It's tough. 75% for Masterminds, a team that has shown us once they're on the point, they kind of stick.
Definitely. But it's going to be tough for Masterminds to recap this point. They have to deal with not only the Transcendence, but the Primal Rage is going to be up in a second for Mini, which is a lot of stall time available to SereNity if push comes to shove, which it inevitably will, because Masterminds are going to be contesting this one into overtime. They have to make this fight work. USMC looking for a big pulse bomb.
Ooh, almost, but no cigar this time around from USMC. Would have loved to find the Mercy. That would have played a pretty big role here. Taki going to go down the other way, though. Not going to miss his pulse bomb. So as we are into overtime here, Jordan, SereNity looking like they're the team finding the frags, finding the kills. They just need to clean up the Tracer and the Winston. And if they could do that, KS1's already gone down. It's all just down to USMC. That overtime ticks away and SereNity finds the first point.
Yeah, not a bad round from SereNity. Some good individual plays out from both the DPS players. I think that obviously Gusto swapping onto the Genji really worked out for them as well, because it seemed like in that Widowmaker battle between Taki and Gusto, neither was really actually doing a whole lot with the Widowmaker. They were kind of keeping each other in check, but short of that, there wasn't that much impact on the rest of the game. But then Gusto kind of swaps off onto the Genji. We still didn't really see too much from Taki, but Gusto's definitely had more of an impact once he swapped over onto, I guess, what we would now consider that comfort hero for him. It looks like he's going to be continuing on with that. Now, this point is a little bit more, I feel a little bit more open to the Widowmaker. We'll see if Taki can have more of an impact here. And he's definitely going to need to for Masterminds, because they can't afford to be dropping this first map against SereNity.
And no Farah so far, have we seen? One
no.
might expect to see one here.
Taki did play Farah last week a little bit against Pixel, but it wasn't all that impressive, so I think Masterminds have probably shelved that for the moment. You know, when you don't have a super strong Farah player, it's not entirely necessary in this matter. It's not like the Widowmaker and the Hanzo.
Look at this mini pushing. Oh, so dirty, straight through. We'll manage to take Taki out to kick things off there. So, in terms of Widow versus Widow battle, the Widow that doesn't have to verse another one's probably going to find the better of that. But if you don't have one, even better, you really do need to chase them down. You cannot let them push through and find those kills. It makes life very, very tough. SereNity going to find the first point and do so relatively easily. Mastermind's almost not fighting as soon as Taki went down. Yeah,
I loved playing Winston back in the day when Widowmaker was a little bit stronger than she is now, because I absolutely detested Widowmakers. And Winston was always the one that I jumped on and just basically dove the Widowmaker every single fight. It was a good time. That's exactly what happened in that last fight.
Yeah. Well, they're going to need to, right? You cannot allow Taki to sit back on Widow. And straight again, look at that.
Doesn't need to be a Winston, does it?
Deflects it all the way back. Headshot deflection. Taki going to come back to life there, but they pick him up again. It's going to take a little bit longer for him to come back this time around. They're still to the point. They managed to push Masterminds back as well.
Gusto's doing so much work with those deflects. He's just deflected another headshot into I don't know who, but someone, and it's pushed all of Masterminds back. Now Taki still isn't having an impact on that Widowmaker. If this push does not work with the Widow, you have to start thinking about swapping.
There again, Taki going to go down. To be fair, SereNity, it really feels like they've been targeting the Widow, and to be fair, it's working. Look at this. Filthy, dirty Gusto finds 3. Oily onto another 2. And SereNity are all over Masterminds right now. Masterminds, this is not working.
Yeah, Gusto's definitely filthy, dirty, oily as well. But Masterminds, like, they've got nothing right now. SereNity's absolutely pummeling them into the ground. And again, Masterminds, they're not going to be changing their roster up. USMC still sitting on the Brigitte, which in a point like this with so much verticality, you know, you've got the D.Va, you've got the Winston, you've got, like, I just don't know how they're going to make this one work. But let's see what they can do. They have to make this one work. It's the last possible fight now for Masterminds, and ults across the board.
Certainly is. Masterminds sitting on a ton of ultimates, but they will need to use them. Let's see if what they can save to the bank and I suppose still be successful. It's a bit of a...
Oh, Mini's dead.
A big effort right now. Yeah, and Mini, maybe, I don't even know. Yeah,
it must have been a car.
Got to watch out for the road. No, no gorillas on the road, please. Less than ideal. USMC going to get caught out there by Nox. SereNity brings it back. Nox has also now found Noz. That baby D.Va far less useful. Taki getting chased down here by Oily on the D.Va, but it's Oily who's a little bit low, going to get demacked as well. They're still on the point, they're still pushing through, but SereNity, you can see that their heroes are coming through quicker.
Not even close.
Yeah, SereNity going to pick it up 2-0, Jordan. Oh, look, I'm really concerned about this Masterminds.
I agree. That's a very, very poor showing from Masterminds in that first map. Oasis, they really didn't get anything going. I guess in the first round, there was moments there where they looked like they were going to be doing okay, but that was really predominantly off the back of USMC coming up huge on the Tracer. I think across the board for SereNity, they were really, really all firing. I mean, Nox and Gusto. Nox was fantastic on Tracer. Gusto looking awesome on Genji already.
Yep.
And then obviously Mini and Oily doing a great job of shutting down Taki as well on the Widowmaker. So everything that needs to be working for SereNity right now is working, and this is a bad early sign here for Masterminds, because this is the first time that SereNity's been able to start off a series with a map win, bearing in mind that they've been going to 3-2 losses for both of their first 2 matches. Yeah, if they start off with a win, you know, the sky's the limit, really. Peculiar
result, really, to start things off. For me, the thing to take away from that was that when SereNity, perhaps either they didn't feel comfortable on the Widow as maybe might be the case, or just didn't want to play it. Whatever it was, it didn't matter, because so often we've seen teams either struggle in the Widow on Widow battle, or just, you know, not even really think of it and get punished as a result. This was the flip side of that, the inverse, where they prepared for it. Yeah. And even though they didn't play Widow themselves, they just dealt with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did play Widow at the very, very start, but it wasn't necessarily having an impact, so obviously they've adapted to it. They've just started diving the Widow. It seemed like they had no real concerns there about that. Typically, if you're diving the Widow, you're kind of worried about, oh, am I going to be going too deep into opposition territory or what have you. SereNity had absolutely no fear there at all, and it started to show. Masterminds were not having really any chances to be able to get back on that point, cap it up. Every single fight was going quite easily the way of SereNity, and if that's going to continue here when we get onto, you know, the rest of the map pool, like if we continue to see Guzto popping off, if we continue to see Nox being able to get multiple kills with a pulse bomb, then really you do start to have to get worried about Masterminds and how that kind of awkward DPS kind of hero pool does work out, because both the DPS, you know, that USMC kind of plays Widow as well, and Taki plays it, and it sort of just all gets a little bit awkward at times for Masterminds. I suspect we might see USMC swapping off onto the Widow, and then we'll see Taki going with the Hanzo. But yeah, last week it was kind of the reverse of that, so I'm really not sure what's going on for Masterminds as far as those DPS hero pools are concerned, but we have to keep an eye on it throughout this series, and Masterminds definitely have to build themselves up. They have not had a good result there on Oasis, but it's not the end of the series. It's only one map, and needs to come back here in the second and have a good result.
Yeah, I guess we really just need to stop thinking of Masterminds as being Masterminds, because they're not, and reassess where they sit in this ladder, where they sit in Group B, because clearly the answer is not at the very top. I think that's pretty much self-evident. But then the real question is, are they second?
Are they worthy of being second at the moment?
Are they third?
It doesn't look like it.
Are they fourth?
Well, at the moment, it's like Darksided and Kanga playing off for first and second, and then SereNity's kind of nipping at their heels, and Avant-Garde maybe solidly sitting in fourth, at least as from what I can see. I don't know. I mean, it's really all up in the air, but like SereNity, you got to remember, still doesn't have a win on the board, and despite the fact that they're looking so good, it's kind of make or break for them now. This series is huge for SereNity. They need the win here. Even though I'm kind of talking about them in the grand scheme of things of potentially being sitting in that top 4, they're not even close right now.
No, and that's it. You're right. You cannot afford to lose your other matches. Like if you lose the easy ones and you want to make it through to playoffs, you're going to have to win the hard ones, right? You're making life more difficult for yourself. But hey, they've got a great start. They found Oasis. We're moving on to King's Row here. This is going to be Mastermind's pick. SereNity, one would expect, going to want to start off on defense. But is that the case?
Nope.
No.
SereNity's starting on attack.
That is. Do you think that's odd?
Yeah, a little bit.
I find it peculiar.
Obviously, they're feeling it right now. They want to take the battle to Masterminds, play the round on their own terms, whatever pace they like. See if they can really rattle Masterminds here, and see if Masterminds can give us something back here on King's Row. Being that it is their choice, they should have, in theory, a little bit more of an advantage. They have won already once on King's Row this season.
Well, it's not a bad defensive setup that Masterminds have started, and we saw Legacy actually with some pretty good strats yesterday. Got into the point relatively easily up against a superior roster, and today maybe we're going to see the same from SereNity here. They're already onto the point. They're finding the picks 1/3 of the way through. Taki going to get caught out again there by the support, and Forbles actually finds 2. Incredible play coming out from the Zenyatta. So epic work here for SereNity, and they're going to find the first point, jump onto the payload with a ton of time in their back pocket.
Well, that was all really opened up by the kill that Guzto got onto USMC. That Orisa shield went down. Guzto jumps up on the Hanzo. 2-shot straight into the side of USMC. No res available because Guzto is locking down that angle, and from there on out, it's a 5 versus 6, and we know how that usually goes. So SereNity, very, very easy push for them, being able to get that initial pick, really paying dividends, and they close out the capture point very quickly indeed. dropping Nox there, but the res is across, so that's okay. And now the Dragon Strike as well as the Transcendence thrown out from SereNity. They really want to fight.
Yeah, well, I guess they're just trying to make as much room as they can for themselves here. It's going to be a little bit more difficult, though, when Mini's got the orb on him.
Mini can make this work, though. He's got the Earth Shatter. KS1 does not. This is where SereNity can really get some good push going in Phase 2.
If you can shatter the shield, Jordan, and the Earth Shatter comes out, and it makes a huge difference in this play, you just have to be ready for the Reinhardt to right-click and bring it back up again. Noz, though, right behind the attacking Reinhardt there, going to make life tough, and Mini going to go down in the end. So, Masterminds on defense here, doing what they need to do, but they're going to need to keep doing it for another 4.5 minutes here in phase number 2. And to be honest, I'm not so sure that that is possible.
Yeah, great stuff from Noz. He's kept his Reinhardt alive and ensured that it was really difficult for Mini to get an Earth Shatter off there. And when we did eventually see Mini throwing out the Earth Shatter, it just kind of did nothing, really. Yeah. Now Masterminds are the one with a massive, massive ultimate advantage. SereNity, they've really thrown away their best possible chance of having a fast time now on King's Row, because it's going to be a tough slog to push through phase 2 now that Graviton Surge and Dragon Strike are up. Earth Shatter's there as well for KS1. And Taki seems to be starting to hit some shots now on that Widowmaker as well. So that's definitely a problem for SereNity.
Yeah, they threw everything they had at that early on. Thought maybe they could make the room, Jordan. But when they came shield to shield, they weren't in the right position. Graviton Surge into Dragon Strike. Going to end this one quick, smart. USMC going to find 3 quick kills.
Yeah, like what are you going to do? Really?
Not much. Not much is the answer. Another minute gone. 3.5 remain here on the second phase of King's Row. SereNity started off so very well here. The reality is if they can get a bit of a move on, it's still going to be a pretty good time heading into the third and final phase where it really gets difficult. Oily here, ready to go with a Graviton Surge of his own.
That's what we're waiting for. Gusto, 73%. As soon as he is able to get his Dragon Strike up, that's when SereNity should be able to push on through here.
If Mini can stay alive again. Look at this, KS1 actually going to get caught out there by Gusto. Graviton Surge ready to go. I suspect Gusto ready and waiting as well. Almost going down, won't need it as you say. All the picks going all the way across the board to SereNity.
Yeah, that just shows the importance of having the Reinhardt. If you have that shield drop down and that presence, not even just the shield, but the presence also of the Reinhardt that, you know, disables you from really pushing forward quite as easily, playing as aggressively because you're going to be running into the hammer. Obviously, SereNity just run over that fight as soon as KS1 does go down. Now, there is an Earth Shatter available here for KS1. If he can get this off before the Graviton Surge comes out, maybe there's a chance, but it's not going to happen. And here's the Dragon Ball combo again. Nothing to be done for Masterminds, and SereNity will be pushing through onto the second point.
Yep, so only another minute used here, going to make their way through to phase 2 successfully. A minute and a bit gets added onto that one. We'll find ourselves at 3.5 here for SereNity to work with. That's a bit of time. Is it enough time? I'm not sure. Even Mastermind, surely, with how they're playing at the moment, can succeed here with the defensive advantage.
Yeah, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the moment, you'd have to look at the ult charges, and I kind of feel like it favors Masterminds, even though it's 3 versus 3. I mean, Fluoro has just popped the Valkyrie, but now Earth Shatter's up for Mini. It could be anyone's game, and it's going to be, Mini's done better. Mini's done better. He's shut that one down. Earth Shatter does come out first from KS1, but Mini absolutely denies any possibility of anyone getting down anything done off the back of the KS1 Earth Shatter with his own, and that really allows SereNity to push on forward.
It does. They're gaining a ton of room here, and they're very, very close to competing this. You're going to have to see the team jump on top, but wouldn't be surprised.
Grav combo's almost ready for Masterminds.
Almost. Dragon Strike comes through, but Dragon Blade comes through, but actually gets caught up there in the Graviton Surge, and Nox, unfortunately, going to go down there for SereNity. Dragon Strike coming out from Masterminds. A number of kills actually going in the way of Orcus. 9th on the support. They're still battling it out here on the payload, but SereNity are going to lose this battle. Masterminds managing to get a foothold once again. Still 2.5 minutes to work with. And they've thrown everything they had into that. Yeah,
Noz is really charging this Graviton Surge up so quickly. He's at 57%, where you look at Oily, who used his own Graviton Surge on the second point, is only on 35%, where Noz he's basically defended the final point with his grab, but yet he's still almost double what Oily is at right now. So he's absolutely slaying everything right now, but we're still waiting for that grab dragon combo out from SereNity. That's a good block from KS1, but he does go down in the end anyway.
Yeah, losing the Ryan not going to be exactly what Masterminds wants to see here. Noz staying alive, doing the work. The only take remaining here for Masterminds. so very low,
Nasty.
almost getting picked up, but the heals are coming through.
95%.
And Graviton Surge.
And no trance. This is going to be huge for Noz. If he gets a grab off, this is going to be utter decimation of the SereNity roster. Everyone should be going down here, and indeed they will. Masterminds holding on once again. But now Oily's up to 90% of his own Graviton Surge, which is what SereNity were really lacking there. Guzto shouldn't take too long to get his Dragon Strike built up, and this, if any of the pushes is going to work, this is going to be the one for SereNity.
Well, they need to make something happen here, Jordan. They've lost another minute and a half. 60 seconds now remains. We'll see what work can be done. Overall, SereNity has definitely looked better here than Masterminds have on Kings Row. Heck, they certainly looked better on Oasis as well. One would certainly anticipate there's real potential for SereNity to close this out and make it all the way through complete phase 3. Mini Shield looking low, but KS1 not looking that healthy either right now. The payload, as you can see, has dropped back a little bit. They lost a little bit of room. Counting these ultimates come through. Forbles and Fluoro both low now. Gusto low as well. And you can see KS1 diving into the middle of SereNity. USMC's found 2. One of the supports is down. Both of the supports are down. And SereNity going to get one last push. Push into a pretty stacked Masterminds
With only 20
lineup.
seconds left on the clock, Ben, I'm not sure that they're going to be able to get to this payload in time. They're going to have someone that's essentially just going to have to run straight to the payload to try and secure overtime. Right now, Masterminds are in a good spot of just closing this one out, but it all comes down to that Dragon Strike combo for SereNity. Mini with the Earth Shatter. Everything's going to happen here now for SereNity.
They're running out of time. 2 seconds at least.
It got
They
eaten.
were on the payload. It's not going to work, Jordan. No one's there. Mini's going to walk on, but Noz has a Graviton Surge of his own. And this, you would think, would capture everyone. It absolutely needs to. Look at that. Right into the corner. We saw it yesterday. Noz doing work on the high ground, but the Diva's going to go down. Mini on the payload, but surely Mini gets picked up as well. Surely this overtime goes to Masterminds. SereNity probably going to fall just a little bit short here on the attacking side of Kings Row.
Well, USMC, the hero there for Masterminds, eating the Dragon Strike that comes out from Gusto. That was the combo that they needed. SereNity, they needed that one to win, and they can't quite get it across, even with an Earth Shatter as well to follow up. Without the Dragon Strike, there's just not enough damage there for them, and hats off to USMC playing Diva. Like, that's not a hero that you would normally see him on, but they've gone for that triple tank Masterminds on the defense, and it's worked out fairly well in their I suppose, back pocket. Now Masterminds have a real chance of winning this one on Kings Row. If you don't finish off Kings Row, I mean, we see it completed quite a lot, Ben.
Yeah,
so,
but I guess you say quite a lot, but at the same time, we also see a lot that get 90% of the way through on phase 3 and then get caught out. So,
well, I just feel like that might be a little bit short for SereNity. Who knows, though? They were very, very good on Oasis, and we've only seen one half of this map, so it's far too early to be calling it right now. We have to see how SereNity is going to go here on their defense, what they are going to run. Gusto on the Hanzo, and Nox is going to be going out onto Diva. So, triple tank set up again here for SereNity. This time, it's them on the defense. Of course, Masterminds will change things up on their own attack. But for SereNity, it's a much different defensive setup than what we saw for Masterminds. They were going for that Orisa composition. SereNity have got the Reinhardt, so it's just a little bit different.
it is. It's kind of what you'd expect to see in phase 2 and 3, not necessarily in phase number 1.
Noz is not going to stay on Genji.
Maybe they're a little bit more comfortable here with the Reinhardt Zarya.
Yeah, just waiting to see what the rest of the Masterminds players are going to jump onto here. August 9th will probably go on to Zenyatta. Haven't really seen him play anything else this season, and I suppose why would you?
And a big shout out to McDonalds Australia supporting Overwatch Contenders Australia for this season, Jordan. Love to have Maccas on board. Love to have Maccas in general, let's be fair. But let's see what SereNity can do here. Now they're on attack. They could have started off on defense. They chose not to, which I personally think is a bit peculiar. They've set a reasonable target for Masterminds to work with, but will it be enough? That's the real question. Well,
it comes down to this first defense, doesn't it? If this doesn't really go too well for SereNity, they can't find some time here.
See you, Mini.
It's trouble, and you're right, it is not going well at all for them, is it? There's picks across the board now for Masterminds. Taki getting involved, USMC pumping out the damage, up to 83%, now 92. He's going to have a Dragon Strike available before phase 2 even starts.
Can't help but feel that USMC is kind of holding this team together sometimes.
I don't think that was just USMC. I think across the board that was just Masterminds.
Just in general, Jordan. Just in general, mate. Just can't help but feel it. Can't help. Can't help it. Look at this. Look how far forward Masterminds have gone through. This is essentially what SereNity tried to do on attack and failed
That's
at.
what you want to be doing.
Yeah, you want to try and find as much ground as you can. Again, securing that foothold. Here we go. Dragon Strike comes through. Are we going to capture anyone? The answer by the looks of it is no.
Oh, you lied, because USMC does manage to...
He does. He finds a kill, but it's not a kill from the Dragon Strike. No. Maybe it was just separating the players, allowed him to find that. But Oily going to be resurrected straight away there by Fluoro. USMC in the back line trying to do the work, trying to find the tanks now as well. But right now, it looks like the payload's been slowed down, and SereNity going to throw out a Dragon Strike of their own, not getting any kills. But, again, just perhaps that zoning ultimate, clearing things up, giving SereNity an opportunity here to bring this back.
Yeah,
throwing a lot to it, though.
Nox on the Diva is really putting pressure onto Taki, but Taki's also got the backup of USMC, which has really allowed USMC again to charge up a very, very fast Dragon Strike. So here's another opportunity for Masterminds to make something happen, but their last wasn't so successful. We'll see if they can do it again. This is not a bad spot to just be throwing out the Hail Mary Dragon Strike. You don't really need too much to combo with it because you can split the team if you just fire it straight through that bookstore. Reinhardt usually gets caught on one side, the rest of the team on the other.
Graviton Surge going to come out here, followed up with the self-destruct actually, Jordan, or as I like to call it, the hole-in-one. Only USMC going to go down in that one from the self-destruct, but that's probably because the remainder of the team was taken out by everyone else, and SereNity looking okay here on defense, but if you look at the time bank, Jordan, 4 minutes is still so long.
It is a long time, but you've thrown a couple of fights in there, you've thrown a couple of ultimates out for Masterminds, hasn't really worked. Now it's time to change things up. Noz onto Zarya, and KS1 onto the Reinhardt. Now that's the change for Masterminds, but it's still going to take them a little while to get this one ramped up. There should be another couple of fights that go the way of SereNity.
Yeah, maybe potentially some might suggest a wasted Dragon Strike coming out from SereNity, followed up by maybe a less than ideal Dragon Strike coming out from Masterminds as well. Nox going to go down.
Look at where Taki is.
Yeah, that's the question. There's the Earthshatter coming out as well, but Mini going to get caught out by August 9th. It was a charge from Mini on defense. The support ends up picking him up. Taki all the way back, still chasing down Gusto.
Yeah,
going to find the kill.
Somehow Taki gets around the back there. It didn't look like he was going to get too much done, but he gets enough for Masterminds to continue the push on through. Now, whether SereNity is going to be able to have another contest at this phase 2, I'm not so sure, because they still have quite a long way to run. They don't have much to contest with, short of just the Transcendence.
Yeah, I guess you can see the Trans coming through and contesting either on the payload by itself or with everyone else in support.
In saying that, though, SereNity and Masterminds both have the same ultimates, just the Transcendence, so it's going to be just a brawl. See who can fight better without ultis.
That's there. Mini taking a little bit of damage still. Pushing strong for now. Taki goes down. KS1 looking low as well. The tank goes down here for Masterminds on defense. Certainly going to prove tough for them, and they're probably going to have to fall back. But support's doing work. Nod, you can see as well, has managed to get that Graviton Surge up. Whether you wait for USMC, probably.
You do, because right now, both teams are looking for the Graviton Surge combo. Whichever one gets it off first is either going to allow Masterminds to push through faster here, or SereNity might even be able to full hold if they can win this next fight. That last fight win was 50-50, but this really gives them a chance now to kind of try and hold on to this point.
And that Trance still hasn't been used here by Forbles or by August 9th, Jordan, so it really hasn't been forced out. SereNity, they're the ones that are happy for the time to tick down without these ultimates being used. We'll see which they need to use here to hold off if they need to use anything at all. I suspect it's going to come down very, very shortly. It's really the battle of the surges, and, well, one gets sent to the left. They're going to, I suppose, just be happy to deal with one or two players there, but the result is no one goes down other than USMC there, and in the end to a Sonic Arrow. But SereNity will follow it up with a number of kills, a number of crucial kills, Jordan. All the tanks are down.
Yeah, you'll be happy with that if you're SereNity. It doesn't matter that you only are able to get, well, essentially no one off the grab combo.
Yeah.
But as long as you can do the damage, as long as you can put players low and maybe get that one pick, that's enough for SereNity to hold on there. And both teams were doing a good job of playing so spread out, and neither grab was really exceptional. But in the end, it was enough for SereNity to hold on. Now it's down to the Earthshatter battle. Before it was the grab combo, now it's down to the Reinhardts, Mini and KS1. The winner of this fight, essentially, either for Masterminds keeps his team alive or SereNity wins the map for SereNity.
A great Earth Shatter here by Mini, I think, seals the deal here for SereNity.
Absolutely.
Self-destruct going to come through. Now, this is a crucial time to Earth Shatter if the shield turns around. Unfortunately, Mini goes through it and doesn't find anyone.
Yeah, KS1, I think he just got booped backwards, which really helped him out. He was able to keep the shield up, able to keep his team alive, and also Mini throwing the Earth Shatter right into the shield as well. Doesn't get anything at all from the back of that. So that's a nice passage of play for Masterminds, but now you have to think they've only got 13 seconds left to work with. And while SereNity doesn't have any ultimates to contest with here, if Masterminds don't make this one work, they're done.
Here's the Earth Shatter ready for KS1. He needs to use it, but he needs to get behind the shield. Goes to the left, actually is successful. Finds half the team. Nox almost going to go down, but now it's actually going to be the tank for Masterminds getting picked up. That Transcendence coming out from Forble, saving the day here for SereNity. And a Graviton Surge now coming out from Oily. Coming out from Masterminds. Is it going to be enough? That's the real question. USMC's now found both tanks. Noz has gone down.
Oily's 93.
And he's back to life. Oily ready to go, Jordan. This could be it. Throws it out straight away.
That is
Finds the remainder of the team. SereNity surely successful on defense. Masterminds only with their Reinhardt left alive, and he's going to be picked up in quick succession. SereNity 2-0 pick up this map 2-1.
Wow. What a fantastic Transcendence out from Forbles. I thought that Earth Shatter was going to be enough for Masterminds to push on through. He caught 4 players in that one, KS1, but unfortunately he didn't get the only guy that could save the day there for SereNity, and that was Forbles with the Transcendence. Pops that immediately as he should. That allows him to keep his team alive, allows his team to build up the ultimates, Oily inevitably getting the Graviton Surge, and that's the final nail in the coffin there for Masterminds. Now down 2-0, moving on to the half of the match, where SereNity usually shows their best performance.
Hey guys, we woke up now. It's not that early in the morning. We played a couple of games. That's normally the SereNity we see. But what a crazy couple of maps here, Jordan. Masterminds, the #1 seed in the group, are down 2-0 up against SereNity, a team that really struggled in Season 1.
Yeah, definitely. Like, this SereNity roster is looking so much better than they were in Season 1. Like, there hasn't been that many major changes. I mean, Gusto's come in and Oily has come in, but aside from that, it's still more or less the same roster. But, I mean, that just goes to show the experience that a season of Contenders will give you when you've got it under your belt. SereNity is just looking so much better right now, and I guess, look, admittedly, Masterminds is not the roster that they once were, but even still, against the other teams, SereNity last week, they were able to get a 3-2 against Darksided, which they inevitably lost, but even still, they're still contesting the top teams in this group, which we didn't see them really being close to being able to do last season, with the exception of that one map that they were able to get off Darksided on Hollywood. But realistically, this SereNity roster is really looking like something pretty impressive. It's just, I wonder if they're going to have enough steam to make it into the playoffs from starting off down 0-2.
Well, that's it. But I guess if you talk about that Darksided maps, right? So when we compare them to Masterminds, it's really, this Masterminds roster clearly very different to what we've seen in the past. Almost entirely different players here. So you can take that with quite a significant grain of salt / throw everyone into the Dead Sea, right? Let's deal with that way. But when you consider Darksided, and they managed to go 3-2, or 2-3, I suppose, up against Darksided team, that in the past they probably wouldn't have found a map against. And those are the maps that you need to win. If you're down a couple of match wins, but if you're getting maps off Darksided, if you beat Masterminds, if you win your next 2 games, that puts you top 4, Jordan.
Right. I mean, in theory, the job should get easier now for SereNity, as they've already faced up against Darksided. They also faced Kanga in week 1, which was
that's
a very
literally the 3 top teams with Masterminds.
Exactly. That's well, I mean, Kanga and Darksided are the 2 top teams right now in that group. If you beat Masterminds here, you've got to play Pixel and you've got to play Avant. Now, Avant last week, they didn't look so great against Kanga. Pixel hasn't really looked so great against anyone, although admittedly they did get a 2-3 loss to Masterminds. But realistically, those are winnable matches for SereNity, and if you can 3-0 the last 3 matches, puts you at 3-2, that's probably enough to go through into playoffs, and maybe in the end that knocks down someone like Avant into trials again.
Absolutely. Pretty big things to come of this potentially if SereNity can pick up the win. They're already 2-0 up, Jordan. They only need to win 1 more map today. Are we going to see a 4-0 coming out from the underdogs, or potentially a Mastermind's going to bring it back? It's half time now. We're going to take a very quick break, and when we come back, we'll have to wait and see.